Folklore founders, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a year and a half. Yes, a year and a half since I have posted anything. I am so sorry. The last one I posted was a tour around Cheltenham Literature Festival, which is there. I'll put in the link up there. I will be returning to Cheltenham Literature Festival, but shh, don't tell anyone, secret. Where am I today? Well, I have dragged the wife and kids out, and the dog. Here he is, look. We're here in the wonderful Derbyshire Peak District. Used to be the Peak Forest, now it's the Peak District. And you'll see in the background we have Man Tor, Back Tor, which is up there. And we are heading up Loose Hill. This place is dripping with folklore. When I got my folklore books out, Lore of the Land and Folklore of the British Isles, both which I put a picture of. When I got those out and had a look, this area has loads of folk tales. So this will probably be a two-parter. Sorry, Murphy wanted to stop and have a sniff. So we'll go for a walk. We'll probably do the outlying areas of Castleton first, and then we'll go into Castleton and do the tales, the folklore of Castleton itself in another video. So come with us as we go for a walk up Loose Hill, back Tor, back down to Castleton, and on the way I'll point out some rather devilish folk tales. Stay tuned. Heading up Loose Hill now. Loose Hill is that one behind me there, then Back Tor, and then down. So the Peak District is renowned for its natural beauty, the first national park in Britain, and it sits mostly on limestone. Now, limestone is notorious for its caves. You get naturally forming caves in limestone where the water, the acidic water, dissolves the limestone and makes wonderful caves. And there's loads around here. I've been down a few. We'll talk about one of the caves in particular in Castleton, in the Castleton episode. But you've got Treat Cliff Cavern, you've got Blue John Mines, and again I'll talk about Blue John in the Castleton episode. But you've also got Giant's Hole. Now Giant's Hole is over there somewhere behind Mam Tor. But also over in that general direction is another hole called Eldon's Hole. Now this is a notorious pothole. In the 16th century, the Earl of Leicester carried out an experiment. You see, it was thought that Eldon's Hole was bottomless, a bottomless pit, and that the devil himself, Satan, he used it as a bolt hole down to hell. And so to test this, the Earl of Leicester, he decided to get a local, stick him on the end of a piece of string, piece of rope, and lower him down into Eldon's Hole. When he was brought back up, the man had gone mad. He didn't say a word and died shortly after without recounting any of his experience. Now the locals saw this as proof that the devil himself was down there, and they avoided it. But that's not the end of Eldon Hole's story. The Earl of Leicester had carried out his experiment, Charles Cotton decided to carry one out, and he commissioned a mile-long rope. Now they make rope down in Castleton. Again, I'll talk about that in my Castleton episode. And he took that mile-long piece of rope, attached a local to it, and descended them down into the hole. When they came back up, they said they got to the end of the rope and it was still nothing. It must be over a mile deep. Must be. Surely. But that's not the end of that story either. So as you'd have seen, we got to the top of Loose Hill. We got to the trig point at the top, and Archie posed, didn't you, Archie?
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a poser, but he looked good. It's really windy up there, so we've just come down to the lee of the wind. On the far side, we are in the Edale Valley on this side. You can see over there, where is it? Just there is Edale Youth Hostel. They do outdoor pursuits. You've got the train line that runs all the way along and then it goes back again. But we were talking about Eldon Hole. Round about the same time as Charles Cotton was dangling himself and people on a mile-long rope down into Eldon Hole, Charles Lee, for the Royal Society, went out and officially measured it. This was in the 1800s. And he measured it and he said it was 60 yards deep. That's it, 60 yards deep. Now, also around about the same time, you had some highwaymen operating in the area, and it was said that a pair of highwaymen robbed a couple blind and then got their victims to walk into the hole, and down they plummeted. I mean, I've heard of dropping a stone down a hole to see how far it falls, but people, it's a bit cruel, isn't it, Archie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit morbid. Anyway, that's Eldon's Hole over beyond Mamtor that way. In a minute we are going to set off after we've had some lunch. We're going to go to Backtor and drop down, and we're going to go past a place called Dunscar Farm, and it's got a very spooky story which I'll tell you on the way down. See you soon. Top of Backtor, this one here, full of lots of little cairns that people have made. You can see in the distance over there, Winnet's Pass, as we call it now. It used to be called the Winnets. Now, before we get to Dunscar Farm, I'll tell you a bit about Winnet's Pass. It's a gorge made by the collapse of a cave, same as Cavedale, which is behind Peveril Castle over there. The roof of the cave collapsed in. It's created a valley. Now, it's said that some time ago, 200-300 years ago, a rather grisly murder took place. 2 people were found dead in one of the many little caves that litter the side of Winnet's Pass, and no one was ever caught until many years later. One guy confessed all on his deathbed. Said there were 6 of them involved in total. 5 of them died grisly deaths. They had rock falls bury them, they fell off cliffs, and they all died apart from this one other guy. And he said he could not die, he could not pass over until he'd admitted what he'd done and named and shamed the people. And after he did that, he passed away. Rather grisly, but that's what Winnets is known for, that murder. We're not going to go up Winnets Pass today. We're going to carry on just for a bit further along this ridge, and we're going to drop down to Dunscar Farm, the site of another very grisly murder. Stay tuned. What's it like, Arch?
That's scary, boy.
Okay, so you should be able to see in the distance, behind those trees there in the distance, is a Dunscar Farm. Now, the story goes, a couple of 100 years ago, there were 2 sisters, and they both lusted after the same boy. Why is it always boys that sisters fall out over? Well, it was so bad that one of the sisters decided to do away with the other sister. She murdered her. How grisly. And as her sister was dying, she said that her bones must never leave the farm, or bad things will befall whoever moves the bones. So the sister that was still alive, she put the bones in a cheese vat on the stairs. Now, accounts differ whether it's the bones or just the skull, but there was definitely a skull on the stairs in a cheese vat for many years, and some say it's still there today, but I don't know. I'm not going over there to see, just in case that spirit is still haunting those bones, and I don't want to move those bones. You can see this place is full of very grisly stories, whether it be highwaymen forcing their victims to jump into bottomless pits, or murders in Winnet's Pass, never confessing until their dying day, or killing their own sister. People around here seem to be a bit violent, but I love a good violent folktale. We're going to carry on down now past Dunscar Farm to Castleton, where we'll wrap up this video, and then I'll get some footage for the next one. So stay tuned for part 2 from Castleton. home stretch now, back to Castleton. Been up to Loose Hill, back Tor and back down. Archie managed to survive. My wife and daughter, they tapped out halfway, but that's fine. They did really good. They had a good old effort. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and ding that bell notification for more videos, and you'll be notified when the next one is uploaded for Castleton, and I'll try and get some more done over the spring and summer. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you if you've already subscribed, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye. Bye Archie. Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye Murphy. Bye.